Omero G here, Omero Guerrero with my friend Pablo Perez. Back for another podcast.
Dun, dun, dun.
So if you guys haven't already listened to the first podcast, make sure you guys go to the Ganas Network YouTube page and listen to episode 1. Here we are again. You know, Pablo has been bringing up a very exciting and interesting topic that I think would be really cool to talk about. And, you know, Pablo, go ahead, take the mic, man, and I'll put in my 2 cents.
You know, one thing I've been noticing lately, Omero, is why has Facebook been so negative lately? I mean, it seems ever since the politicians came out, especially since the politicians came out, you know, for looking to run for president, it seems like everyone's throwing the race card. I know just recently we had some, black people that were upset with the police out on the East Coast and the Midwest, and now it seems like everybody's throwing sand at the Latino community, the Hispanic, the Mexicans, and I see people getting caught up on all this stuff on Facebook. It seems like everyone wants to post their opinion on it. You know, Facebook used to be a pretty cool spot where you can just share your pictures, share what you're doing, who you're hanging out with, and now it's turned into this. It seems like more like a place where people can show what, you know, their true colors, and it's kind of sad to see, you know, some of the people you thought, hey, you know, these guys are really good people, they're cool people, and then, you know, once these politicians started to come out with, you know, their ignorant comments, it seems like everybody's jumping the bandwagon, and now everybody wants to be, you know, have an opinion about certain things on there. And I don't know, to me it's just been, I don't know, Facebook is just, it's not what it used to be. You know, it seems like everybody wants to get caught up in negativity, and people drown in it, you know?
Yeah, man. No doubt. I remember Facebook in the early stages when I was single and bored at my old job. I used to use it for like 2 things. Number 1, to find like funny viral videos because I used to just like to laugh and share them with my friends. I wanted to be that guy that would share like the funny stuff before anybody else. And another thing was to like hit on girls. And I don't see any of that happening anymore.
I know, right?
It seems like now the only stuff on my feed, at least with all the people that I'm following, is either politics or narco stuff, which I guess is interesting, but you don't need to like drown in this information. Or religion. Oh man, people love to talk about religion. Make sure you share this post to 10 people or else God's not going to bless you. Like, what's going on? You know, it's really interesting times that we live in. It's the information age, and I guess that's the cool thing about freedom. The freedom in this country is you could share whatever you want on Facebook, but it really, like you said, brings out the true colors in some people. You're like, man, why am I even friends with this person?
Yeah, and you know, one thing I've noticed is I don't mind if you want to share like politics, if you want to share religion, if you want to share, you know, whatever it is you want to share, something negative, but just don't do it all day long.
Right.
I mean, I have people, honestly, that are posting, for example, I mean, Donald Trump, he's a hot topic. Let's just be real. And I enjoy some of the feeds because I think it's funny how people get, you know, caught up in it so much. But I'll see the same person that's on my feed post like 5 or 6 articles every single day about how Donald Trump is in the lead of the polls, how he's putting down, you know, the George Ramos, or how he made him look bad, or how Donald Trump is a true entrepreneur and he's going to get the country out. I mean, the guy hasn't even set out a plan yet, you know, but these guys are just like so infatuated with this dude. And they're posting all day about it. They don't even post about their personal life anymore. I mean, this right. All they post about it, and it's like every day. I've actually had to delete a few people because it's just like, dude, you're too much, you know? And I don't know how you feel about it, but for me personally,
Yeah, I mean, it definitely gets annoying. I mean, even I'm not into politics, to be honest. I vote, you know, whenever I can, but my thing is not even just about politics. Like, I have friends who are just so obsessed with like sports, for example. I love sports. I've been playing sports since I was like 6, right? I get it. It's fun. But there's these like diehard fans, especially these Raider fans, man. They're so crazy.
Oh, wow. Look at you. I knew you were going to
No, just people that are
Raider
obsessed.
Nation.
People that are obsessed, right? Like crazy. All their stuff is about their team, and then Kobe, and on this guy's nuts, and this girl's, oh my God, whatever. Here's the thing. When was the last time Kobe Bryant sent you a thank you letter. Hey, thanks for going to the games. Thanks for buying my uniforms. Thanks for buying my shoes. Thanks for giving me all of your money. When was the last time Jordan ever did anything like that? You know, so it's cool to be exciting. I love baseball. That's really the sport I follow the most. I'm a big Angels fan, born and raised in Orange County, but I haven't even been to an Angels game this year. Like, I'm just busy. I'm working, trying to make money, just doing other things. You know, married. We're gonna have a baby, so I have other things that are a little bit more important right now than a game. And I love baseball, and I don't even have TV right now, so it's like I can't even catch a game on TV. But
then you're not a real Angels fan.
Right? I guess I'm not a real fan. I guess that makes me a really shitty fan. But what I'm saying is, do you be as passionate as you are about your Niners, your Raiders, your Cowboys, whoever your New England Patriots, or these new all of a sudden Seattle Seahawks fans everywhere.
Yeah, right.
So I get it. Be excited about your team, but be excited about your own life. Do you? You know, when did you go? When are you making time to take action on your own dreams, your own visions, and just you are what you feed your mind. I think I posted that yesterday on Instagram.
Enough. I think you're making us Raider fans feel bad about how passionate we are about our team. So I'm just kidding.
Be passionate about your own life. Be passionate about your kids. Be passionate about your own dreams, your ambitions. Maybe you don't have the dream house or the dream job or the dream car or the dream lifestyle yet. But what are you doing right now that can help change the course of those things in your life? Maybe you want to be healthier. Maybe you want to find that dream girl and fall in love and start a family. Well, what are you doing right now?
So I guess the question for me is, are you upset at the fans overall in general, or are these the Facebook fans that are always posting about their favorite players? Because now it seems like you're just going off on all fans that are so passionate about their own. You know, I'm just curious.
Definitely not about all fans. I know a lot of plenty successful people who are big fans, but get your priorities straight.
I get it. You know, like I'm a diehard Raider fan, Raider Nation.
Woo.
So, I understand. Being passionate about your sport team. I'm an Oakland A's fan. I'm a Lakers fan. But I'm a Lakers fan, I'm a Raiders fan, and I'm a baseball, Oakland A's fan for those couple of hours.
Right.
I don't need to let it take over my life for 6 or 7 days out of the week. Because, I get it. You got to get your priorities straight. You got to focus on other things. But, hey, man, I mean, sports is a way to kind of sometimes escape. And I just think that some people use it as a way to escape, whether it's, their problems or stress or whatever. And this is how they do it, don't you think? I mean,
for sure. And I'm the same way. I think I like music more than I like sports. So sometimes it's just sitting back and listening to like an album or going to a concert. Like I went to the first concert this year last weekend, and it was fun. It was a nice escape for like 4 or 4 hours. That was really, really cool. And I'm not against entertainment. I'm not against, but I think there's a thin line between being into some stuff like sports, even the arts or whatever, and obsessing. Obsessing is kind of like, dude, chill. And then when you're Facebook, you're obsessing about Donald Trump. You're obsessing about like El Chapo. Relax.
I know. And it's funny because sometimes you're like, wow, these people, I mean, if you put so much time and energy into finding all these articles about this particular politician, man, you could be using that time to like figure out how to make more money or something, or figure out, a new skill or figure out something different. You don't have to get so caught up in that whole deal, because I believe, here's one thing I think. I think when Donald, and like I said, Donald Trump's just a hot topic, so I'm not picking on poor old Donald, but he's a hot topic. And I think that when he came out and said what he said, you see all the sheep come out. In other words, they're just following his footsteps. And now you see the people who are, sheep. You can be a sheep, and then what you are is you become just a follower. And now you see that these people don't have they can't form their own opinion. They never had the courage to say their own words on their own terms. They had to wait for some politician to come out, say it, and now all of a sudden they have the courage to say it. I mean, if you really felt the way you felt about, immigrants, you should have been speaking about it a long time ago. You shouldn't just have waited for Donald Trump to say something and then jump on the bandwagon, right? It doesn't make sense. Why would you wait for a politician to say it and then you jump on that bandwagon? If you really feel that way about immigration, you should have been doing this a long time ago. Not wait for Donald Trump. Otherwise, in my eyes, it seems like you're just a sheep. And he's the one that's hurting all the sheep right now to hate Mexicans or Latinos. But another thing that kind of I want to just talk about is people who are negative just about their life on Facebook. They want to air out their problems with their husbands, their wives, with their jobs. It's just sometimes it's like, I get it. Okay, you're having a bad day, no problem. Maybe you don't have a good friend that you can vent to. You think Facebook is the answer. That's cool. I mean, but when you're doing it every single day about how annoyed you are with people, or how much you hate your job, or how much life sucks for you, or how much your spouse, is a horrible person. I mean, you don't need to let us all know that. I mean, we're not even real friends sometimes on Facebook. I don't even know you. And here's the thing, being a businessman, I look at it like, I don't know if I'd ever want to do business with this kind of person.
Right.
Because they're always airing out the dirt.
Yeah.
And it's just not. So that's another thing I want to talk about. I mean, it just seems like Facebook has evolved from a cool place to hang out and get to, connect with friends to just a bunch of Debbie Downers or negative Nancys. It seems like that's all you see nowadays.
Right. And it seems like with Facebook especially, people treat it like a personal journal.
Yeah.
Oh, like all this emotional, depressing stuff consistently, right? And I think that's really why I'm switching a lot. Mostly, like most of my information, I post almost consistently more on Instagram. It's a photo and a little like subtext. But even now, people are so slowly migrating. Those emotional people are migrating from Facebook to Instagram and posting like some weird stuff, a lot of politics and just like
very depressing pictures.
People.
I mean, let's just get to the reason why we're talking about this. I mean, if you don't believe it, it is happening. And it just seems like, the media, it starts with the media. They got us on TV, right? So it started leaking on TV. All the news does is feed us negativity, and they feed us the information that they want us to know.
Right.
They never try to, show us other ways on TV. So we're already brainwashed. Well, it starts with school. That's a whole different topic. We
could be here all day.
We could be here all day talking about this. But, TV and radio is the media that we used to, most of our time we spent listening to the radio or watching TV, right? The average person is 4 hours a day watching television. And they program us with commercials, news, a bunch of stuff it's all negative. It's all negative. It's all marketing. It's all, brainwashing. And then social media came to life, right? And it started off as a fun place to hang out and, get to share your thoughts and your passions and be able to connect with family you hadn't seen in a long time and share pictures with each other. So it became this like healthy baby of a great place to hang out, like just away from the negativity that we were being fed through regular media.
Yeah.
And now the wave of radio and TV are now feeding Facebook, right?
That's so true, man.
I mean, that's just something.
It used to be a place to just connect with people and then also to stay in contact. And now you want to stay away from certain people.
Yeah. And that's sad, man, because I mean, and it just goes to show, how hardwired and how hard programmed we are with, with the social media or with regular media, that we're allowing it to come into these places when we have the power as human beings to just keep that stuff away. I heard once that people say, there's your Facebook life and then there's your real life, right? There is your Facebook life. And to a certain extent, you should be genuine in your stuff. If you're a positive person and you like to post positive stuff, that's great. If you want to share something that you're doing and it's genuine, then that's great. Share it, And you're sharing like real things about yourself. And then obviously, there's the things that you don't share that are personal. Maybe it's your health, relationship issues, but those should stay personal. Right. Those you should learn to separate the two for a reason. Mm-hmm. Because nobody needs to know your business out there.
Right, definitely. And I mean, I'm hearing stories almost every day of people who are losing their jobs because of stuff that they're posting on social media. So make sure that you're extra careful, not only that you post like annoying things, but things that could be very controversial. Sometimes you may work for an employer who can be very conservative and have certain beliefs, and whether or not you agree with them, they can't fire you because you're not the same religion as them. They can't fire you because you don't have the same political mind. But if you say something that can make the company look bad and it reflects on you because you're an employee of theirs and on your page it says that you work for ABC News, guess what? If it can be a conflict of interest, they're going to let you go, and they have a reason to. So there's just more to it than us just here venting about the shit that annoys us. But it's just, protect yourself.
Well, check this out. Like, I've heard stories of people who are in human resources. They're literally friends of mine that are on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and they work in human resources, or they do hiring for companies. And some of the things these guys are disclosing on their own Facebook is how they'll take your resume, they'll look you up by email or by name.
Mm-hmm.
So after they've interviewed you, they already have an idea of the person that you are on Facebook, and they're using that to determine if they want to hire you or not.
Right. Imagine,
dude, that's crazy.
Imagine, Pablo, if we posted pictures of, back in the days when we used to go to the bars all the time when we were single every Friday, Saturday, right? Going to the games, and how your employer may see that.
Smoking a joint.
Yeah.
Like, you think you're cool.
Like, oh man, these guys are going to be hungover and late every Monday, and
or they're always going to be stoned at work.
Right.
Jeez.
So, I think with what we're saying, it comes down to this. Even more reason why the Ganas Network is here. We want to change in the way the information is delivered and the type of stories and media that's out there. We want to bring these positive and very motivational stories that are most importantly genuine and real. These aren't fabricated stories that we wrote and we just said, hey, let's make up these stories to pump people up. It's not. These are genuine regular people like you and I who have been able to accomplish big things. And why not spend 20 minutes a day listening to this audio, to this podcast, to this video, whatever format you use, to hear just a little bit of motivation. And I know that I got into self-help, 10 years ago when I was introduced to network marketing, and it changed my life. I had my first business when I was 18, but I didn't have any self-help, so I didn't really know what I was doing. I was making money, but I didn't understand business. I didn't understand working on myself harder than I work on my career. And self-help is very, very powerful, and it was just stories.
Oh yeah, and the stories are powerful, man. And me, I came from a very low income side of town, and my parents, like I said, they were immigrants that were working in the fields. And to be honest, I mean, in their eyes, the goal was get a job, go to school, get good grades, so you can go to the university, and then after you get to the university, you're gonna have a great career, and you'll make great income, and you work the 40-40-40 club. And it's funny because I took that to heart because it was my mom. It was my mom and my dad, and this is what they wanted, and I wanted to pursue it and push it. I'm not going to say I was the greatest student even in college because I kind of just got by. But I graduated. I got my degree. And then I try to be focused in being a career-driven person, like working my way up the ladder. And it wasn't until I read my first book, it was How to Win Friends and Influence People, that my mind shifted. And I was like, man, if I can read a book like this and then feel like the world is gonna open up, like there's more out there, just because I was able to now say, hey, I can use a skill that I have. I have people skills, and then that just helped kind of put a light on it that if I got really good at talking to people, I can make money. Mm-hmm. And then I read a book called Think and Grow Rich.
Yes.
When I read Think and Grow Rich, bro,
game over.
I was like, I don't want to work at a job. I'm going to sit there and just think about being a millionaire because that's what I first thought.
Right.
You sit there and you just think about it and it's going to come to you. But no, there's got to be some work behind it. I had to read it a few times. Right? But the reality is that after I read that book, I was like, I don't have to follow that plan. I can go and just create my own wealth. I can go and create my own business and strive for what I'd like. And self-help is legit, man. I mean, it helped me out. It opened up a whole different world to me.
I only wish that self-help would have been introduced to me at a younger age. My brother-in-law texted me yesterday, because his daughter, my niece, is a freshman in high school. And he asked me, hey, do you have the book How to Win Friends and Influence People? And I said, yeah, it should be in my library. And I looked and it wasn't there. I must have let somebody borrow it. And he said, oh, I want to give it to my daughter. I think she could use it. And I was like, you know what? Everybody needs to read that book. But the fact that she's being introduced to these type of books at such a young age is such a powerful tool if you use it. Don't just read it. I remember I used to pay my brother, shout out to my brother Petey, what up, man? I used to pay him when he was in high school like $200. I said, hey, if you read this book and then write like a essay on it, I'll give you $200.
That's generous, bro.
Yeah, just to get him to read.
I'll read a book for $200.
It's because I knew he wouldn't read it. Hey, he read one book, I think, but he never wrote the essay. So I was like, hey, man, you didn't keep you at the end of the deal. But my whole point is there's so much information out there, the success stories, the recipe for success has already been written. And
multiple times.
Yeah, and it continues to evolve with technology and whatnot, right? You introduced me to the book Crush It by Gary Vee. I picked it up yesterday. You're right, I couldn't put it down.
It's a good book, right?
It's a sick book.
Dude.
And I never was into books in high school. Trust me, guys, the only reason I graduated high school is because I was playing sports and my baseball coach required that we have a high GPA, or else I wouldn't have cared about school.
Yeah, I'll be honest, man. I had to go to independent studies to get my high school diploma.
There you go. You got it done, and you went to college.
And then I went to a university.
That's what's up.
Because they told me DeVry was the place to go to, because that's where all the Mexicans go, so they can work in computers. That was all a lie. I'm telling you, it's a scam, guys. But it's true. These books can open up a whole different world.
Right.
The funny thing is, I started getting very interested in real estate.
Nice.
And it's because I read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yes.
Dude, that's like the most simplest book to read.
Yeah.
And that book right there, I swear this would be a book that a high school should be teaching their kids. Is like, let's read this book and see what you get out of it. And let those minds, because you know what? When you're in high school, you're very gullible. And you believe anything.
For sure.
And think about this. Imagine at that age, instead of them telling you social studies, knowing what the capital of each state is, which I don't know the capital of each state. I really don't. I know Sacramento is California.
Right.
And I think that's the only one I really care about. That's the only one I really care about. But, if someone would have said, hey, you can be a millionaire at 18 or at 25. If you start reading, if you start reading these books now, I'd believe it,
right?
Because at that mind, your brain's still developing. Instead, they're packing all this old, useless history that obviously they want to teach us. And yeah, history does repeat itself. But like I said, how do you put history and the capitals of each state together? Like I've never had to worry about using that ever in my life.
Right.
But I've learned about real estate. And if I would have learned about real estate back then, who knows? Maybe I would have pursued a passion and a career path in real estate. And who knows? I would have been somewhere different in life. The book is so easy to read. This guy wrote a book that was just like easy to understand, that a fifth grader can understand. And for me personally, I just think that, like I said, the programming starts at a way younger age, you know? But self-help is legit, man.
See, that's the thing. We just dropped 3 nuggets for you. I remember that when Pablo and I used to go to like motivational networking meetings and trainings, we would be sitting there taking notes.
Yeah.
Those are 3 massive nuggets that were just dropped. And I say that humbly. Trust me. Get these books. How to Win Friends and Influence People, Think and Grow Rich, and Rich Dad Poor Dad.
And Crush It.
Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk. These books can be a really good foundation to help you with whatever you want to accomplish. It's not even just about being a millionaire and a business person. What if you want to be a motivational educator? I have a friend who I grew up with. Her name is Linda, and hopefully I'll be interviewing her soon. Her passion has always been education. She didn't want to be a teacher, but she wanted to be somehow involved in education and community. That's her thing. So now she's working for this big company as a very top position. She flies all across the U.S. to go to these high schools and give talks of how to help students get these scholarships and grants and how to apply, because a lot of times these kids don't go to college because the parents don't really know the process, so they don't support them, and they're maybe thinking it's more expensive, it's not affordable. So what she does is kind of paint a light and give kids a freaking opportunity, let them know, look, you can go to college, you can get a higher degree to follow your dreams. So whatever you want to pursue in life, these books can really mold you and guide you and give you the tools to take action.
And you know what? That's great that you say that, because most people say, I want to get into education, and they think they have to take the course of being a teacher. And then once you're a teacher, then you can try and become that person where you can travel and speak to other schools and teach people. And when you can go straight to being that from the day you're out of high school. Because, nobody told you that you couldn't do it. And those books kind of remind you that there's nothing that's impossible, and you can pursue and make money in whatever passion. And what she's doing is she's able to go and still be an educator, but she doesn't have to be a teacher to become an educator. Right. She's an educator. She entered into the education field through a different route, and now she's passionate about what she does, and she gets to pursue, that life, and that's awesome. Right.
And I definitely feel that she's living her dream. Like, I bet every day she wakes up excited about helping these students, meeting new parents, and sharing the information that she has with the world. And I think that's powerful. And that's what this is all about. If you're already living your dream and super satisfied with your lifestyle, good for you. We want to talk to you. We want to hear what you're doing because you could be an inspiration for others. If maybe right now you're not where you want to be, that's okay. Just draw that line in the sand and say, I need to do something different. And it starts with maybe the books you read, the audios you listen to, and the associations that you have.
The people you hang out
The
with.
people that you hang out with. I mean, we're going to go into so much of this information as the weeks evolve and the months evolve with these podcasts. That's what we're going to really relate to is kind of try to cover as many bases as we can as far as what we know and from the stories.
Yeah, because, in just going through life in general, I've been able to meet some really interesting people that have been successful. But when you hear where their beginnings were, how they got to where they're at, it's an incredible story. I mean, if they always say that one thing, when we see the people who are famous, the light kind of shining on them, and then people get to hear the story about how those people came up to be where they're at in the limelight. But the reality is we all have our own book. We all have our own journey. And believe it or not, you may have a story on how you came to become where you're at that can potentially change somebody else's life. You don't have to be someone who's famous or someone who's in the limelight or someone who's extremely super millionaire, type of person.
Right.
Just to be able to touch somebody else or to share with your story with someone else that can potentially, you can change their life just by sharing your story. Like, hey, I came from here and this is where I'm at. This is what I went through. And that's powerful enough. We just want to put a light on it.
Right.
We'd love to interview you. We'd love to talk to you and ask you questions about how you got to where you're at, how you were able to pursue your passion and turn your passion into a long living career, and be where you're at.
Right. A good example is 2 weeks ago, I met this guy named Saul at a party, and we were just talking. I knew his wife from before, and he was telling me that he edits and produces shows for Telemundo.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, dude, that's like the dream for me because I like to mess around with video editing and video production. I do some commercial stuff. And he goes, yeah, been for a few years, but he wants more out of life. And I was like, man, you why don't you start your own company? And he's like, oh, I've been thinking about it for a long time, but I don't know what to do, where to start. And that's what we're here for. Let's share some stories. Let's give some nuggets, some books, some tools that maybe you could start to equip yourself so that you can build that belief within yourself that, you know what, I can do it. I'm not saying quit your job at Telemundo tomorrow and do that. I get that. Keep your job, but on the side, build your dream because anything is possible. We're in the U.S. We have so many great opportunities here with the way technology is. You can make all these. I have a friend that makes $500,000 working from home.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you shitting me, dude? $500,000 working from home?
I got a few of those.
Right, Pablo? We have a mutual friends that are like and working from home. It's like
travel in the world and getting paid.
It's cool. It's like, man, if they can do it, I can do it, right? Jeez. And these are guys that started with nothing. We were roommates before. They were poor. We were all broke together, and now making $500,000. I'm like, holy crap! So those are the stories we want to share, guys. Anything else, Paul, before we let our people go?
Hey, man, I'm just very excited for you guys to get a chance to let us know. Who you are, what you're about, what your story is, because there's a lot of people that would love to hear your story, including us. So hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, ganasnetwork.com. We'd love to hear from you. And that's pretty much all I got to say today. All
right. The last part here, I'll leave you guys with this, is the next person we're going to be interviewing is a very, very well-known, famous drummer in Mexican music. This guy has recorded for some of the best artists in música regional mexicana, which is like all corrido stuff. So he's recorded the drums for Gerardo Ortiz's most successful albums, Regulo Caro, Grupo Escolta. He's been touring with these big artists all across the U.S. and Mexico. And he's going to come in. We're going to interview him. He's going to share his story. He started at a very young age, and now he's one of the most sought-out drummers to record for studios. And it's going to be an interesting perspective to hear his story because you guys are going to find out the truth about how music is made.
Man, that's going to be interesting.
That's going to be
He's going to have a lot of good stories.
Yeah, his name is Jesse El Pulpo Esquivel. And good friend. I've known him for a couple years. Super, super humble guy. I can't wait for you guys to hear his story. And I know that he's a big influence in the music industry. He has a lot of great friends, and he has some really cool stories. So stay tuned to the next podcast. And we're going to be back with Ganas Network. If you could please hit like, please share it, and go to Facebook. Follow us. All right, guys. Sure. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
exist, looking for love, but it ain't happening. Maybe it's not time, but it's time enough to wish. But there's yearning in my heart to finally finish. Stranded on this desert isle, it should be paradise, but without the warmth of another heartbeat, it's sorrow in my eyes. I dream of being accompanied by her presence as a symphony. Right now it's a cappella, but I'ma tell her that it's meant for harmony. Solitude has its perks when it works, but right now it's out of order, and there ain't no maintenance to service this. And my love, it don't take quarters. So where are you? Do you exist? Looking for love, but it ain't happening. Maybe it's not time, but it's time enough to wish. For this yearning in my heart to finally finish. God's creations, we make things so complicated.